Total SFWA meltdown incoming, everybody. This is the collapse of an organization like I've never seen. It's been so fast. It's been so crazy. People are wondering what's happening. It's going crazy over on Blue Sky with members quitting, people dropping out of committees. And this is the second president in as many weeks to have dropped out of SFWA. We covered the original story, did a whole video on that. Gosh, this is about to get really, really interesting, and it couldn't happen to a nicer group of people. I'll go over what the Science Fiction Writers Association is, Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Association. They keep changing the title of their organization, and how this all got here. This is going to be quite the video. Stay tuned. Hit the like and subscribe button, everybody, as we cover the most important topics in science fiction news. This is why we're the most trusted name in science fiction fandom over here with Fandom Pulse, my nice article this morning. You can hit that in the description below. And I'm also a science fiction writer, so if you enjoy the classics, guys, like Heinlein, that they had humanity reaching out towards the stars, being better, really having a sense of wonder. That's what science fiction used to be about back in the day. And I really tried to capture that with Colony Launch. So if you would love to check out some great science fiction, this just came out on audiobook. I recommend the audio version, of course. We also have paperback and Kindle. That's going to be the first link in the description below. Thanks for supporting the channel. We sold 35 copies of this last night. Overnight, so it's just clocking. People are giving it great reviews. I just got a new review on it. I'm gonna show this off. It said Colony Launch and its subsequent trilogy, The Stars Entwined. Yep, are fun books you can't put down until you finish them. They need to be films someday soon. Thank you for posting that. Really appreciate everybody who leaves reviews and, of course, reads the books. All right. People who don't appreciate book readers are the Science Fiction Writers of America. President Jeffy Kennedy stepped down after it was Cat Rambo before that. It's been a nightmare of these strange women who just don't write science fiction, don't really have professional careers. They're amateurs LARPing as professional science fiction writers, and they've used this organization as this clout structure so they can go speak at events and have a little social club. And it's really funny. There's tiers to it. So it's they have their little social club within SFWA, and just being in that's part of a social network where they can pretend like they're a clout structure. Then there's the board of it, and the board is its own little closed social network where it's nobody knows what's going on, and it's a little social club as well. And they've done nothing. All these people have done no work for years. They've totally destroyed the organization. It used to have purpose. When it was back in the day, Jerry Pournelle was in charge of it. You had actual real authors in charge, who were in there, Heinlein, Asimov, all these great people. And what they did was publishing industry really used to screw writers with their contracts. And so these guys would use their clout within the industry to lean on the publishers and say, no, you're going to standardize the contracts so that nobody gets screwed. But in the Amazon era where everybody can just make their own books, I can sell thousands of books a year. Just myself. I put this out myself. You don't need a publisher. They don't do anything for you. There's really nothing for SFWA to do. So it's become just a social club that you pay $100 a year to have a forum membership and be able to vote on their awards, which is a own self-circle jerk of just books nobody reads too. So that's what happened here. And as it devolved, real industry giants and juggernauts just kind of checked out of it because they're busy focusing on their businesses. And this didn't help with anybody's businesses. So these ladies took over, these strange women who are just weird. They're the blue-haired people they're out there screaming and screeching all the time. A lot of politics out there. A lot of weird, degenerate sex pests in the organization as well. And it just became a pointless thing. It's like a social structure among socially inept weird people, mostly women, and then they-thems out there. And so they lowered their standard of requirement. It used to have to be a real professional in order to get into the organization. It used to have to be science fiction too. But they allowed fantasy, which means they allowed romance writers, and this lady right here who was the president last week, Chelsea Mueller, sorry. Who basically just writes some YA stuff, some YA horror stuff, which doesn't really sell. And that those people get in charge of the organization just because of clout structure rather than actually doing anything. And none of these people actually want to work. They just want the clout. They want the accolades. They want people clapping for them. It makes them feel good. It's like a dopamine rush to have the sort of fiefdom, to be in charge, to be able to exclude people. It's the high school network of like these women like looked at the popular girls in high school, the cheerleaders, and you know, these are the fat, dumpy, weird women in high school too. And they'd look at them and just be jealous, and they wanted that, and they wanted the ability to have their own social structure to keep other people out, and that's exactly what this became. So Jeffy Kennedy stepped down a week ago. She was in charge of this stuff, and everybody was like, wow. The board came out with an email like implying there's like major problems within the organization, but it was vague. Nobody knew what was going on. So people started talking about it. If you go on Blue Sky, which is where all these people have kind of quarantined, they are talking about this. Everybody's like, what's going on with SFWA? Is this a problem? Do I need to know what's going on? This lady here goes, yeah, I joined SFWA, realized it had been a terrible mistake. I don't care enough about the opinions of shitheads to tolerate their romance nonsense and let my membership lapse. Here's another one saying, yep, ditto. So people understood that like this organization does nothing. It really does. And so 1 week later, after Chelsea Mueller gets appointed to this membership, she quits. And here's her letter. It's with a heavy heart I must resign my role of SFWA's board of directors effective immediately. I love this organization. Its mission, I don't even know what is its mission. Can somebody tell me that in the comments? Jeez. And most of all, it's volunteers and members. My life has changed dramatically since I ran for vice president earlier this year. So this lady just got on the board earlier this year and just became vice president like in June, got thrust into president in July, gone in a week. Really didn't want to do any work. And so why did she even run in the first place? It was just, like I said, these women just want clout. They want to be in the little cheerleader club of nerds. and then they find out there's work to do, so they quit. It's really funny. Many of you already know my husband. It was in a major motor vehicle accident, so she immediately like tries to go for sympathy, saying her life's a struggle. My struggle. Chelsea Mueller's struggle. Her Kampf. Oh my gosh. I intended to forge on and make as much time as this organization as I could. Oh gosh. She says, I'm out of spoons and I must use those to care for myself and my family. With the immense changes happening in our organization right now, we need to respond swiftly, thoughtfully, and full attention. I'd be doing a disservice to SFWA by remaining in a key role. Burnout is a constant refrain within our volunteers, and I can see why. So look at this. After saying how great SFWA is, she immediately throws shade at the organization. She can see why. There's burnout. It's a nightmare. Everything around this is a nightmare because it's just a bunch of complaining weirdos who don't want to do anything. Since taking an officer role, I've worked nearly hours of a full-time job. So many tasks for our officers could be offloaded to appropriate staff members if we reviewed our structure. Oof, more shade. I've shared the input with the executive director and the board around what roles I think the organization may need. One of the main initiatives was to see our website overhauled. Their website's a train wreck. It's like from like 20 years ago. I've already prepared a document for this because it feels inappropriate to leave during this time and ignore the current situation. So this is where people start to speculate, like, what's wrong? There's got to be something crazy under the surface for all these people who are in charge of it to be just dropping like flies. And yes, there is. And we'll be getting more into that in subsequent videos as well. I'll depart by saying I believe our staff care deeply about SFWA, deserve respect, kindness, and fairness. Well, that means there's a trouble there in the staff. Somebody did something. There was a big problem. We don't know what it is, but gosh, we'll uncover it. I will debrief with whomever I need on the board in order to pass on the limited knowledge I've gained these last few weeks. Wow, trouble. Trouble in SFWA. That spells major trouble. So the new guy comes in, whose name is Anthony Eichenlaub, and he's the new president now, the third president in 2 weeks. And Eichenlaub, to his credit, I went to his Amazon page. He actually writes science fiction for real, and he actually has a readership, and I've actually looked at the descriptions of his book. He seems like a competent writer, at least on the surface. I haven't seen that in SFWA in a long, long time from a president. This is like the first out of the last like 5 or 6 presidents who's actually a competent writer who really does science fiction. So kudos to him for that. But he does this. I ask of you one thing that you can do to help SFWA move forward, not 100 things other people can do. So he's asking for people to help. Don't get me wrong, I want a list of the 100 things we could do. I've seen great suggestions the past few weeks. Because I've stepped into the interim president role and was not elected on a platform, I feel like it might be good if I share a little bit about my philosophy for the board. I believe the board's duty is to provide direction, both ethical and strategic. The board should rely on expertise and efforts of employees and volunteers to accomplish the mission. So the board needs to offload more work to other people. They shouldn't take on too much. This is funny. The board member burnout, reduced involvement in member volunteers. So what I'm reading between the lines here is all the volunteers are just like quitting. The board members are just not doing any work. There's no leadership whatsoever. It's just a dead organization with a cluster. It's complete chaos, complete disorganization, and crazy. So then it gets weird here. I believe in transparency. There are limits, of course, but I believe when we hit a limit of what can be ethically, legally, or safely disclosed, I at least owe you a reason. So there's something going on here. And now people have speculated there's a bunch of NDAs involved, which I don't know what this means, but it could be financial problems. It could be embezzlement. It could be legal problems. It could be of course, sex pest problems we've seen within a lot of these people in these organizations. We've seen it in science fiction a lot. Neil Gaiman is obviously big in the news right now with all that because, but there's a lot of that down the line, guys. It gets crazy around these people. It really does. So we'll see what happens. Now, somebody from Uncanny Magazine actually did post what he says is the reason for what's going on. He says one employee left, wasn't replaced. One employee asked for accessibility accommodations, didn't get them, gave 90 days notice, and then was immediately shut out of their SFWA email account. That one gets more and more complicated. This is a big deal. So SFWA is a California organization, and California is notorious for their disability, discrimination stuff. So if this person said they asked for accommodations for disabilities from this org and didn't get it, and then got ignored, and then got shut out of their account, got locked out, got banned. Apparently, they've been banned from the SFWA Discord, too, just for asking about the disability accommodations. There's a major lawsuit here, and there's going to be a lot of money transferring from SFWA. They're going to lose their shorts on this. This is, it's kind of a scam, the disability laws, but SFWA just stepped into it because they love to virtue signal their disability inclusivity and their diversity and their equity, right? Well, they stepped right into it. This is where lawsuits happen big time. Wow. So that could be crazy. Multiple committees seem to have had members forced out or resigned, including GriefCom. GriefCom, they have a whole committee for grievances within the organization. Holy crap, get rid of GriefCom. Why do you even have that? What a waste. There's a general pattern of these committee members saying there was little to no communication from the board. Now we have multiple board members resigning, lots of claims about NDA stuff. Wow. So everybody's quit because nobody wants to deal with this, and everybody sees the writing on the wall from that lawsuit up above, it sounds like. And then this is a weirder one. A check was issued to a charity anthology, and then the antho was told not to catch the check and destroy it. The payment was an error, a lot going down. That sounds like embezzlement right there. That sounds like misappropriation of funds, like people paying off their friends and then realizing, oh, we shouldn't do that. And then don't cash it. Very interesting stuff. So we're going to get more information. More is being leaked to us as this happens, but a second president is out. A third is in. The organization's in shambles. Everybody's quitting. This is wild stuff out of SFWA. Absolutely wild. And if you guys want my help, just let me know. I can run things. I'm a real businessman. You know my number. See ya. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out Great Science Fiction with Colony Launch. You will love this. It's in the description below. I appreciate everybody who's been supporting this for the past few days. My gosh, I can't believe how well this is selling. And it's a testament to real science fiction does actually sell. People want this. People crave this, and publishers won't give it to them. So we will. See you guys soon.